so this is, I'm no professional at all. I've only been doing embroidery for less than a year. And I use a Brother pe800. So I'm just going to use the 5x7 hoop. So I also have the 5x12 repositional hoop, but I'm just going to use this smaller one. So the first thing I do, I make sure I have my shirt perfectly flat. I haven't stretched the material at all. I've just set it down and made sure that it's flat and smooth everywhere and straight. So then, of course, make sure your hoop is how it's going to be on the machine exactly. Make sure you even have your inner part facing the right way. So on the Brother pe800, you can't see it because this is so dirty. There's an arrow at the end of it. That arrow goes away from this part. Opposite. So the arrow faces away from that. So then what I do, you have notches. You can't see mine. Let me kind of clean it off. You have notches on your hoop. I use these notches to help me line everything up. Okay, so I kind of cleaned them out a little bit. So here's a notch, and you can feel these notches. You can actually feel them. They're raised, so when you rub your hand across it, you can feel it. So what I do is I take all of that, this being my center point, and I line that up with the center of the shirt. Let me get it a little closer. So I line that up with the center of the shirt, this notch, because this is the center of your hoop. So look for the center of your shirt, and don't go off the tag, because the tags are not always in the middle. You can pretty much eyeball this and tell what's the center. So I've got this in the center. So another thing to keep in mind is you have this box-like thing in your hoop. So the top of this here is where my embroidery is actually going to start if the design is that big. So you have to, I do a lot of eyeballing this. So you have to kind of envision the center of your design, the center of your hoop, and know around about where that's going to start, so you know how high or how low to have this. So let's say that this was pretty much going to hit the majority of the hoop. So I, excuse me, I do about 3 fingers. I want my design to start around 3 to 4 fingers from under the neckline. So I would, knowing my design is going to start right about here, because this is that square starting point of the hoop, I would measure my fingers here, and that would be right at about 3, close to 4 fingers. So that's where I would want my design to start. And that's saying if the design was going to be taking up this whole hoop. That means it's going to start here. The design's going to start here, so that's there. Say your design was smaller, and it's only going to take up about that much of your hoop, and you can see that on your computer about how much of your hoop it's going to take up. So if it's only going to take up about this much, if it's just like a simple short letter that's about 1 inch long, then I'm going to definitely have to move this up. And then I would have to measure about 3 fingers from there. So if it was something that was just going to hit the middle of this hoop, that would be good right there. So anyway, all of that being said, we're going to pretend this design is taking up the majority of this hoop. And that will mean it's going to start here. We're going to go 3 fingers down around about there. And then I have these water-soluble markers that I got on Amazon, quite a few. You can also get them at Walmart. This is them. But anyway, any water-soluble pen or marker even, that's made for fabric, of course. So I make sure this is in the middle, this middle notch. I draw a line there. And I do all of this before I hoop the stabilizer. So then I make a line where that middle notch is. Then again on this notch, and there's one more notch at the bottom. I draw a line where that one is. So there's that. Then we're going to pretend that let's pretend I already have my stabilizer in here. I would be using 2 layers of cutaway. I would hoop that in here. Just the stabilizer only, hoop that. And then what you would do is you would spray your stabilizer with your basting spray. Cover the whole thing. And then after you've done that, what you're going to do is take your shirt, keep it still, of course. It's not the end of the world if you do move it because you have your markings. But anyway, roll up the bottom just so it's a lot simpler to get your hoop in there. Roll up the bottom, and if it moves, it's okay. Just straighten it back out. You have your markings on it. So at this point, you would have your stabilizer inside of your hoop. You're going to take this in here, and it'll be tight. It wouldn't be coming apart. It'd be tight. And then you're going to slide it underneath. Okay, and so what you're going to do then, it's sticky, so it shouldn't stick until you push it down. So it's okay right now. So I'm going to feel for the notch, and I've already got it lined right up. I'm going to feel for the notch and be sure it's above that line, because remember, you drew this line under the notch, not right on top of it. So that one's already in the middle, and then I'm going to feel for the side notches. And so I have this side, I feel the notch here, but the mark is way down here. Oh, y'all can't see all of that. Oh, sorry. So here's my center notch. I feel it from under, with the hoop underneath. Excuse me. This notch is here, but my marking is way down here. So what I need to do, that means my hoop has got to be kind of catty corner in there. So what I'm going to do is just push it down, unstick the shirt from the hoop, if it's stuck anyway, and then just keep pushing it down until that lines up. So that's lined up just about right there. So now that's lined up. Center is still there. I come over here, make sure it's the same, lined up, and it is. I fill it there with the marking. And then there should be one more notch on the bottom, and it's not exactly lined up, so I'm just going to scoot this part of the shirt over and make sure it's lined up. And then after I've done that, I know it's lined up, I simply just push it, and I'm not stretching it. It might look like I am, but I'm not. I'm just pushing it down. Because if you stretch it when you're doing this, you're going to get a lot of puckering. So push it down, and it's with the spray, it's decently strong enough to hold to where you can raise your shirt up. I don't have anything stuck to this, but you can raise your shirt up, kind of look and tell, okay, this is centered. But anyway, that's how I do it. That's not perfect. I do a lot of eyeballing. I do this simply because I did not have the rulers that go down inside of your hoop and all that and do all the dots and stuff. This was a simple way for me, and I have not had a problem since I started doing this. Every single thing, knock on wood, that I have done like this has came out straight. And I have done the big 5x12 repositional hoop with the applique, everything, and every single one have came out straight. So anyway, I hope that helps y'all. You can feel free to send me a message if you have any questions, if you want more, like another, I don't know, maybe another video, or need some more help. But I'm no professional. That's just how I do it. I hope that helps y'all.